So I ended up taking no trades today. Some fairly interesting price action to say the least, but I'm going to be going over everything I saw today. So coming to market open, we had a few prominent, you know, confluences I saw. One of those being this new week opening gap. We have a massive new week opening gap right here, from obviously Friday to today or Sunday night, whatever you want to be particular with. Anyways, there is a huge gap here. We have a huge new week opening gap, so my bias was short. Why was that particularly? There was a few things here. We had these two prominent draws of liquidity, these being these two highs here that we swept. So we had these pretty relative equal highs actually right here that we ended up sweeping out. So we had these Asia session highs, London session highs, whatever you want to call it. All these highs were swept out. So we took these highs out, and then obviously we see on the hourly, we are very overextended. If we use my fib retracement tool here, we obviously see that at the time we are obviously well within a premium to take a short. If we look on the hourly, 4 hour is obviously showing the same story. So we sweep a ton of liquidity to the upside. I'm thinking, all right, we are going to be going short here. Or I want to look for confluences to go short, right? We see these highs that we take out. We have these highs we're taking out. There's a ton of, confluences going short. So when we scaling down to our 5-minute time frame, we see we did the exact opposite of what we usually do at 9:30. So we have market open right here on this candle. Next candle, we are just ripping up. So once we got up to right around this point was when I really wanted to look for a short. And I wanted to see a pretty clean break of structure to the downside, which actually obviously we ended up having. But this was on the 1-minute candle that this ended up generating pretty much a move straight back up, honestly. So we obviously see, though, within this 5-minute time frame, that we have price and a premium take a short. So obviously we have these lows up to these swing highs right here. We're in a premium take a short. We have this new week opening gap way below here. Did I think we were going to have a chance to fill it in? No, but did I think we were going to trade towards it? Yes. And obviously we just never got that. On the 1-minute time frame, looked really, really bad. This was where I had my eyes wide open right here to take a short. And just nothing was just nothing really clicked for me here. This is definitely an area where I'm sure a lot of people got stopped out. You could have gotten stopped out like 2 or 3 different times here. We had a break of structure a few times here. We see we had one right here on this low. We got a complete closure below with actually quite a bit of momentum. We had this low here. We had a break of structure to the downside, right? There's a lot of areas where you could have gotten faked out. And just because we aren't relatively close to this new week opening gap, especially if you look on the smaller time frame, the 1-minute, the 5-minute time frame, we're not really that close to it. But simply because this new week opening gap was down here, it was hard for me to trade against it. Now, not necessarily against it, but just look for a long position. Yes, you're not supposed to be married to your bias. Yes, you want to be a little bit flexible with your bias, but this was purely because we have this new week opening gap right here. We are heavily overextended on the hourly and the 4 hour. I'm looking for a short. That's exactly why. This is the very few instances where I am pretty married to this short bias, and I didn't really miss out on anything either. Obviously, we see on the 1-minute in particular, there's just nothing, right? We see the macro opening. We have the macro open right here, the macro window in between here and here. And obviously, if it looks choppy on the 1-minute, it's going to look bad on every other time frame, right? On the 5-minute, we see not much here. 1-minute just looks really, really bad. We have this fucking rainbow pattern going on here. I don't even know what the hell to call this here, but it's hard. It's hard. Like I said, it's hard to take a trade, especially with this new week opening gap being here, being really overextended. We actually did enter an hourly bearish order block as well, at least at the point of when I was trading. So we had this pretty strong bearish order block that we actually tapped into and got a pretty strong, or we technically got a closure block, but we were getting a pretty strong reaction out of it right here. And I thought, okay, we had a pretty good, we have a number of confluences, and just purely because these new week opening gaps are the strongest draws of liquidity. I made a TikTok video on this yesterday, but these new week opening gaps, they get smashed, right? They get ran through. Once price starts moving in that direction, it's going to get smashed. This is a massive imbalance within the market. It's not even, draws of liquidity, session highs and lows. It has nothing on these. These are the strongest. These are absolute magnets. But the past few times that we've had them, actually, we haven't had the strongest reactions to them in particular. But I do recall the one day that we did have them, which I think I just found it actually fairly quickly. We did have this new week opening gap, so this was actually really textbook. We have this new week opening gap here. This was actually London session highs right here as well. So this was just like a golden look here. We got a liquidity sweep of London session highs. We had London session lows, which I believe were right here. We had Asia session lows. We had relative equal lows, and then we had this new week opening gap right here. And this was like the most free short I've ever had in my life. This I unfortunately was not trading on my eval account. I was on a demo still, but this would have been this feeds families right here. This was absolutely textbook, and I wish we could get this again, but we might not. But other than that, it was interesting to seeing price just not play out very well today, and it was very bullish. And again, I'm not against going against my bias. I'm not against it. It's just today with this new week opening gap here, it was really hard for me to psych myself up to take a trade against it. And again, there just wasn't that many confluences. We did have a couple. We had a 5-minute breaker block, a 1-minute breaker structure to the upside, but in general, if you took a trade, it didn't look very pretty anyways. And we got all this yes, it's in one direction, but it just doesn't look very clean. So that's it for today. No trades, kind of choppy price action.